Welcome, FNews57 here. Once again, I'm back on my Xbox Series X, bringing you another important update for Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. So, today's video, I will be sharing what information I know and my opinions on the introduction of Season 2's announcement patch notes, including what most of you are probably here for, the imminent threat of a complete wipe to the DMZ. So let's go ahead and get started. I would also like to hear your thoughts and opinions in the comments section below. So, just for any of you wondering, if you're playing on console like I am, you have this wonderful message of the day pop up and you're like, oh, that's cool, what's going on? If you read it, you might be concerned, you might be interested. You have a nice QR code you can scan on your phone if you want to read the same patch notes, but unfortunately, there's no way to actually access them on console outside of actually copying the web address and going to the blog over here on your browser. So, we're going to go ahead and take a look, and what I am most concerned with is the DMZ. That's obviously the topic of this video. So, there's going to be a lot of different stuff coming to Season 2. Now, it's nice we have this notice up front. We've got a couple of weeks' time, so this means that it might be a little bit more malleable, and some of these changes are going to be kind of vague. The first thing that we're going to be looking at is overall enemy tuning. In Season 01, the AI in the DMZ were challenging, but the ramp-up difficulty was often too steep, with some players getting overwhelmed. So they say with Season 2 that they've introduced a number of balancing changes to adjust the types of AI spawning, the number of AI spawning, and the accuracy of the AI at range, including much more. All of this should provide a challenging but manageable play space that still requires the player to respect enemy combatants in the DMZ. This all sounds very interesting, but very vague. So a lot of people may have difficulty with the DMZ. Feel free to check out my other guides and streams on the DMZ. I've played an awful lot, as you guys know, in the DMZ, and we've done almost everything there is to do. I personally would not say that this sounds great. It sounds interesting in theory, but in practical execution of it, it's concerning because it sounds like their main focus is not so much the actual broken aspect of the AI and more just the type of AI and the numbers of AI spawning, which the AI in and of itself, as of recently, hasn't been that accurate in most situations at a distance. It's only a matter of when there's so many of them, if you're fighting dozens of AI bots and combatants and pulling more from the surrounding areas and more of them, that they actually start to become a major threat, except in extreme close-range engagements. With that being said, where I have more of an issue with the bots is their unbelievable accuracy at a distance through things like smoke grenades, walls, bots getting stuck in the sky, bots walking through buildings, bots falling through the ground and still being able to shoot you, things like that. Especially the amount of smoke grenades that Tier 3 armored bots would spam. You might be doing a raid weapon stash, and all you hear in your game is of a dozen smoke grenades going off all at once outside of your building, yet you can be hit with pinpoint accuracy through a window by a bot that once you kill them and pick up their weapon has no optic at all on it. They weren't wearing night vision, they weren't wearing thermal, and their optic, well, there is no optic on the weapons, so how does that work? And this doesn't sound like they're going to be addressing those particular concerns, so I fear that that is a bit of a double-edged sword, and I hope that the DMZ doesn't become too easy, but at the same time, I hope they do address the actual problems like I just mentioned. I'll keep you updated as I find out more information. Some of you may already be aware of these updates, by the way, And this might be coming to you a little bit late, but I did want to share my opinion and hopefully let as many people know as possible. The next thing is spawn points. They say that they are going to be tuning some of the info points across Al Mazrah for improved early match experience based on gameplay datas. Starting at a point which your squad feels isolated or without loot and contract opportunities is not the best experience. These tweaks should improve spawn points across the mode. Again, something that sounds good on paper, but as a player myself, I'm kind of concerned about this because what exactly are they going to do? Are they going to be moving the spawn points into the city? Or are they going to be maybe mixing up the loot, something like a random loot generation for spawn points where it's not the same every single game? That would actually be kind of cool, and that would kind of mix up the gameplay instead of spawning in and, you know, if you're in the village that immediately you look to your left or you look to your right and there's going to be another team right there. Like, 8 out of 10 times, and you're going to have a PvP battle right off the bat. Hopefully you bought a sniper rifle, but if you didn't, you might be a little shit out of luck. So it doesn't say anything about them addressing those PvP fights, those early mismatched opportunities. It also doesn't say anything about them addressing, like, for instance, everybody is going to hit the airport. If you spawn near the airport, there's like 4 very close spawn points. Everybody's going to be gunning for that building. It is a super hot spot. So maybe we'll see random loot generation where these crates are not always there. That could be something cool. I don't honestly know, but I hope that they don't just throw everybody into the middle of the city and you get a spawn point where you have half a dozen tier 3 armored bots in your face or the middle of 3 different PvP squads. That could be very difficult. The next up is mission difficulty tuning. And this is where we're going to get into the big elephant in the room. So it says data and feedback reinforced that faction mission difficulty ramp was too aggressive for many players and that the demanding scale ultimately made it very challenging to unlock the second insured weapon slot, completing all tier 3 missions for Season 1. They've adjusted the overall scaling of difficulty in missions as the tiers progress. Later tier missions will still be quite a challenge for even an experienced operator, but they believe more straightforward access to an additional insured weapon slot will provide a better path for all players. Again, I'm actually kind of concerned that this may not be a good thing. They don't give us specifics. Yes, a lot of the challenge missions, the faction missions, were just needless fetch quests, and nobody really likes a fetch quest. Some of them were also extremely vague on, you need to do this specific task, but we're not going to tell you what said specific task is. For instance, one of the later missions where you need to exfil with a full backpack, a full equipment loadout, but they do not tell you, and you have to do that 8 times, I believe, they did not say that only gold items or things like maxed stacks of armor plates counted. So, for instance, if you picked up a car battery or a game console, that did not count as being a full inventory slot, even if everything else that you did counted. You had your primary weapon, your secondary weapon, you had a large backpack, you had a tier 3 vest, you had full plates, full ammo, full lethals, full tacticals, an additional full stack of armor plates equipped to you, a stowed weapon, and a complete inventory. They did not tell you that specific feature. Now, some missions were also kind of retarded, like extracting 90 radiation blockers, or depositing so many, 30 of a specific item like MREs or 26 blowtorches into a dead drop. That was just, it was there. I mean, it wasn't difficult, but it wasn't fun. It was annoying. It was, you had to fight and scavenge and loot everything, and then hope that you didn't get ambushed while you tried to put something in a dead drop in a specific location. those numbers could be lessened a little bit. That could also be negated by increasing inventory capacity or negated by increasing loot spawn quantity for items needed for faction quests, i.e. your blowtorches, your gauze pads, etc., etc. What I hope they do, however, is potentially lower some of the RNG-dependent missions, like kill 30 operators with a sniper rifle in Al-Mazrah City. Okay, I mean, fine, sure, but why do I have to do it 30 times? Or using the F-TAC with the 419mm barrel kills so many operators, I think it was, again, 30 or something like that. Why do I have to do that 30 times? I mean, I proved I could do it, I did it. Why can't that be done, like, 15 times? It seems unnecessarily intense. But on the other hand, there's missions like a faction mission where you have to complete 8 unique missions or bounties, contracts, whatever you want to call them, inside of one DMZ game. And I've done it multiple times with a decent squad, but every single time we've only had seconds to spare. Well, if they made that, say, complete 6 or complete 5 unique missions or unique contracts inside the DMZ in one game, well, you'd be completing that with ease. It would be an utter cakewalk. You could do it almost solo, and you might not even have to wait for the 4th extraction chopper or final exfil. So I hope they don't go that route and just make it super, super easy. Only time will tell. Again, I'll keep you updated, but I'm on the fence about that. The other thing that we have is an address to crashes. Now, as you guys know, if you've seen, it's like every other day there's an update for this game. They're always putting out something on, you know, if the game crashes, okay, we fixed this bug. Personally, I haven't crashed recently. I've also played the game less. But then again, I've had friends that have never had a crashing problem that are now having a crashing problem. And this is across all platforms, PC, PlayStation, Xbox. They're aware of it. But it says that they are working to fix the issues that cause the crashes, or addressing these issues. That's a very big concern to me, because it says addressing these crashes is a priority for Season 2. It does not say that addressing the aftermath, which is mentioned right up here, you lose your items and contraband weapons, any progress on faction missions, etc., as a result of crashing. So it doesn't look like they're actually addressing the effect of the crash, just that they're addressing the issues that cause the crash, which hopefully, knock on wood, they address all of them. However, I don't think that they will ever completely eradicate every single error that causes a crash. So it would be nice if we could see an ability to, in the event a crash was detected or connection to host server was lost, or dev error, we've all had those, where you could either reconnect to the game or potentially the everything that you had at the start of that match, you still kept. It's not exactly an ideal situation, and I know it's a double-edged sword because possibly somebody could figure out a way to, like, exploit it. Oh my god, I'm in a gunfight, I'm gonna die. I could do this special weird thing on my computer and make it look like I crashed and then load back into the game. I don't know if that's even possible. I don't play on PC. I'm just theory crafting here at that point. But there does need to be something addressed for the loss of items, and preventing the crash is great, but what do you do when it happens? That's what I would like to see them address. Now, here we go with the elephant in the room, and to sound like a phrase from Game of Thrones, oh my god, winter is coming. Well, this is like, oh my god, the final nail in the coffin that is going to kill DMZ before it ever even got the chance to be anything more than it is potentially right here. All new missions are coming to Season 2, including a refresh of your current faction mission progress and an inventory, contraband, and keys reset. We will be detailing all need-to-know intel for the DMZ ahead of Season 2 in an upcoming blog. I pray to all that is good that this is clarified quickly, because if you're like me, I honestly do not know how much I will play this game, especially the DMZ, if all of my progress is lost. Which, based on that, great. New faction missions. Love them. Amazing. Awesome. Cool. I want the new map. I don't mind missions on the old map. I don't mind more tier 5, tier 6, tier 7. Hell, go to tier 10. That's great. That's content for the game. But completely resetting all of the faction missions players have already completed, mind you, they were completed on the harder method of doing them. Let's say a mission get changed from collect 26 blowtorches to collect 12 blowtorches. Well, if I already collected 26 blowtorches and turned them in and completed the mission, why do I have to do it again and collect another 12? Why? Just so you can steal what I worked for? That's ridiculous. On top of that, let's look at inventory. All your contraband weapons, gone. Your insured weapon slot progression unlock, gone. Your faction missions, we just talked about that, gone. All of your keys. Hope you weren't saving Building 21 keys. Hope you weren't saving up grenade launchers from Building 21. Hope you weren't saving keys for Easter eggs, including some extremely hard keys to get, like certain post office keys, or the sunken ship the thief sunken ship cache key, one of the hardest keys in the game to obtain. Hopefully you weren't saving those for any plans, because guess what? That's going to be gone. I've tried to confirm as best as possible. I have not been able to get a straight answer from anyone at Activision other than referring me to this post. So right now it is all up in the air as to exactly what's going to happen, but we will see. So let me know. Definitely let me know in the comment section down below. Fire off, a tweet, a Twitter, a text, whatever you want, a support ticket, comment on the video. Let Activision know your thoughts on this, because in my opinion, this has the potential to completely kill DMZ, which was honestly my favorite thing in Modern Warfare 2. So ending on a slightly good note, there is going to be a new exclusion zone coming in Season 2. So you'll have a third option when deploying in the DMZ. The faction mission refresh will provide new missions that send you across these destinations, including Building 21. Now, if you've played Building 21, it's a very close quarters, inside map. It's very fast-paced. The bots actually aren't that bad unless you really get overwhelmed towards the end of the mission when it's just constant spawn of bots. But it's insane, the PvP battles that you get into. I mean, being in the midst of a fight between 3 or 4 different squads is a very likely possibility for Building 21. So I can only imagine the kind of crazy missions that they are cooking up for us in Building 21, possibly new ones in Al Mazrah, and whatever this new exclusion zone is going to be. Super excited for that, but very concerned about the seasonal refresh. So definitely let me know in the comment section what you guys think about this whole thing, what you think about the video, maybe any pros or cons, what you would like to see added. I'm extremely curious when it comes to all of that. And if you guys don't know, for my channel, we have done quite a bit with the DMZ. Just a quick thing, when it comes to our faction missions, we are completely done with all of Legion in every single mission that Legion has, all the way up and through Tier 5. We are almost completely done with all of the White Lotus Tier 5s, even those though were glitched initially and you couldn't unlock them. And we've done the majority of the work up to Tier 5 on Black Mouse or Black Moose, whatever you want to call it. I was working on finishing everything for completion, but to be completely honest, the thought of losing everything, well, pretty much just kills my interest to play. We've worked very hard to unlock all of the insured weapon slots. I've used my contraband stash to collect weapons. I was collecting multiple copies of the hazardous weapon, some other weapons just to play around with. We've obviously gotten the RGL-80 grenade launcher from Building 21. So stuff that I really do not think that you should lose. Now, they could look into additional inventory space or additional levels for, say, if you complete this in the Season 2, now in addition to storing weapons, you're going to be able to store those unique field upgrades that you bring out. Or you'll be able to store an additional plate carrier. There's so much stuff that they could do. Or just simply make it, okay, if you do, now we're going to have Tier 10 missions, Tier 10 faction missions, and if you complete these, your insured slots will cool down in half the time. Or you get like 10% more XP. There's so many different things that they could do. It's crazy. But also, like all of your keys, key stash. I've collected keys for many different things. But now you're going to lose those keys. And like I mentioned, this includes the rarer keys needed for certain Easter eggs, like the Sunken Ship Captain's Cache key, or the even rarer one for me to unlock, the Sunken Ship Thief's Cache key. It's insane that you would go through and lose all that, especially considering if you do a faction mission and you take a look at the reward, like this one that I was doing where I have to extract 40 bottles of aspirin because, you know, I don't know, the pharmaceutical company wants to put a patent on them or something. Actually, they probably already did that. But I get a contraband handgun, a contraband X13 auto. Great, lovely, just gonna lose that. What's the point? So, anyways, let me know what you guys think. There's other faction missions, which does bring up a unique thing, a unique perspective that is something I failed to mention earlier. But what about the unique rewards? If this is going to be a seasonal refresh, what about these unique rewards? Like the calling card punishment. I completed it. And, I mean, it wasn't that hard, but it was kind of an unnecessarily large number. 3,500 rounds of pistol, 6,500 AR, 1,200 shotgun. That's a hell of a lot of ammo to extract with, but it's not undoable. I think I got it done in like 2-3 matches with a squad. Wasn't really that hard, just kind of felt a little unnecessary. But that emblem that I get, that calling card that I get, is this just going to be a refresh to where it says seasonal, which is super concerning because does this mean they're going to wipe all of your stuff every single season? If so, that's just absolute ass. But what does it do for the rewards from these missions? Are you going to be unlocking these rewards and completing the mission for nothing because it's the same reward you already have? Or is it going to be like a limited time reward where if you don't complete these missions originally before February 15th when Season 2 is out, hopefully, then you can never get them again? I don't know. Either way is a double-edged sword. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Personally, I'd be more inclined to have the limited time, if you don't get them when they're out, you can't get them again, versus the congratulations, you're doing a new mission for the same reward that you already had, and you get nothing for it. At the end of the day, we'll have to see. If you guys have any questions, leave a comment. I'll do my best to help you out regardless. I hope you enjoyed the video. Give me a like if you're watching to this point, and maybe consider subscribing until the next video, or for the next video. With that being said, my brothers and sisters, thy Legion, stay frosty.